Welcome back to my channel, guys. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I made these DIY face masks. So I made one for my daughter already and I made one for myself. I showed these to you guys on Instagram and you guys, thank you guys so much. You guys are so nice and I wanted to know how I made these. Now I do want to mention real quick, you can easily purchase these from anyone else that is making them and selling them right now. I honestly just am bored in the house and I wanted something to do at home. So I gave myself the task to make these masks myself. So I did all of this by hand, no sewing machine. I don't have a sewing machine, nor do I want to purchase one because I'm probably not going to be using it again. So I did hand sew these all myself. As you guys saw on Instagram, it's honestly not that bad of a job. I'm very proud of myself because as I mentioned, this is hand sewn. But I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this just in case you guys want a project at home or in general you are in need of masks. So if you guys want to know, if you guys want to know how I made these, just keep on watching this video. All right, guys, so now what you're going to be needing, the first thing is the fabric. So this is all 100% fabric except for two of them, I think. Once we get into this video, I'm going to be showing you guys that technically you can use 2 to 3 sheets. It's up to you what you want to use. I've been using 2 sheets because 3 sheets is a little thicker for me and I feel like I can't breathe. However, if you look into it, which you can go on Google, search this, CDC site, anything, it doesn't matter whether you have 2 or 3 sheets of this because it's still going to be like a 50-50 chance. This is just helping prevent. It does not mean that if you wear this, you are not going to get the COVID-19 virus or any airborne virus. It's just a 50-50 chance. So being that I looked into that and researched it and saw it, I was like, okay, I definitely cannot breathe with 3 sheets, so I'm just going to do 2. So these are 2 linings. So the next thing you're going to be needing is needles and thread. I just have white and black. I did buy another white one on accident because I didn't realize I already had one, but that's the easiest thing for you to do. You do not need to go buy it and purchase a bunch of different shades. The next thing you're going to be needing is the actual band on here. So I'm going to give you guys some options as to what you can use. Now, what I used on this one was, if you guys notice, this is what I used to guide myself to actually make these. I just went ahead and cut these off and added it for my daughters. On mine, I do have like the actual one that you can purchase. I'm sure you can buy this one too. I just don't know where you can get this one. But this is the one that you'll be needing. Now, for options, you can also use headbands. You can cut this off and you can sew them on the ends right here. This other one is the same, or like I said, if you already have some, just cut it off, which is what I did because I was just trying to use what I already had. Now, how or where I purchased these, I did not buy them. I was given, I was given to them. They were given to me by 2 complete strangers who are very kind to give them. One lady gave me a bunch of headbands and the other is the one who gave me the actual stretching material, which you could not find at Joann's. I tried, trust me. I don't know if it's because I'm pregnant. They were both very sweet. They saw me looking for it, saw that I was having trouble, and both offered to give me a bunch of this. And, you know, just shout out to those ladies because they didn't have to do it, but they went out of their way for me. Like I said, I just think maybe it's because they felt bad that they saw I was pregnant and I was wearing this cheap ass mask. They're like, oh, homegirl's trying. I'm kidding, guys. I don't know. You can also use nylon though. This is the type of nylon that you would use. This is one of my daughter's bows. I'm not going to cut this up. I just want to show you guys that if you don't have either of these, you can use nylon. You can purchase it on Amazon. Literally just search up nylon. Now, I do want to mention, I did order some on Amazon. I'll say nylon. But the expected date is not until May. I think it's at May 8th to May 24th, which is a long way from today. So that is an option. Just be aware that everything is taking a little longer. The next thing that you're going to be needing is, you don't need this. This is optional, but this type of wire, you can also use this pipeline wire. I think it's called pipeline. Let me double check. Yeah, it's called pipe cleaners, not pipeline. Pipe cleaners. These are for the top of the mask. Like this is the top of mine. And then this is the top of my daughter's. So this, when you put it on, pinches, you can pinch it on the nose. That way it's completely closed. It's optional whether you want to do that or not, or you can just leave it open like at the bottom where it doesn't have anything. So you would just have a soft top and bottom. However, I did just want to include that in the ones that I'm making. So if you don't have this specific one, I don't know what it's called, so bear with me. You can use this one. I did purchase these in this entire pack from Michael's. It was 78 cents for 25. So you can buy those. Like I said, I just chose white. They do have very different colors, but I just went with white. Next thing you're gonna be needing is some scissors to cut it all up, and then a ruler. So couldn't find a ruler, so I used this. However, I think this was the best thing for me because I also used it to outline the sheets that I'm cutting, and then it was just easier for me to cut it. That is what I had at hand. So let me double check that's everything. Yeah, so now that that's everything, you know exactly what you're gonna need. A lot of this you may have at home. Like I said, the only things I went to go buy was like the fabric, the little pipe cleaners. Is that what we said they were called? I forgot. And the actual like stretchy bands that go right here. So now that we know what we need, let's just get into this video. So I'm just gonna open it up about this big because I know I'm not gonna be using the entire thing. I just need this corner. So I did look up the sizes for men, women, and children. I will be also linking everything I used as well as sizing below. So for women, it is recommended to use a size 6x9. So for my mom, I'm gonna be cutting out a 6x9 amount of fabric. So I quickly wanna mention that for kids, this is a 5x7. So my daughter's, I made hers according to the actual sizing. Now my own, I made mine just a little smaller than what was recommended because I feel like I have a smaller face, and the regular sized women's sizes were just not for me. So this one is perfectly fitted to my face, and this was a size 6x8. So for my mom's, gonna be doing a 6x9. So what I started doing is on the back of this, it has the sizing right here. I'm gonna use this to trace out 9 inches. So I'm not gonna start 9 inches directly from this end, being that this was cut, but I don't know if it was cut straight. So I kind of start a little off of that. Let me just grab my pen. So now I have my start and end for my 9 inches. Now I'm gonna measure 6 inches going this way. All right, so I went ahead and cut out both of my fabrics already. Now, as I mentioned, you can use 2 fabrics or 3. So I've seen some people use a 3rd fabric. Now, when I went to Joann's, I did ask the opinion of one of the managers, and she said that there is like another fabric that you can use that's either thin, medium, or thick. The only issue with that is it makes it harder for you to breathe. She mentioned that a lot of people have gone back trying to return it because they made the mistake of inserting that and trying to sell them and saying that people don't want it because they're having a hard time breathing. So that is optional. She also said you could use a 3rd just sheet if you wanted, but in general, 2 sheets is fine. If you look into it, 2 sheets or 3 sheets will do the same thing. This will not prevent you from getting sick with COVID-19 or an airborne virus, but it will help you out. So I'm just gonna do 2 as mentioned. Now, this material here is called muslin. She also recommended it to me because it will do the job and it's also thin enough but thick enough for it to work as well as for you to breathe. So now this is my mini design. I'm gonna stick this and it's gonna be outwards in a sense because I'm gonna sew it this way. So now I'm gonna take my muslin, and the side that I drew on, I'm gonna be leaving outside because I'm gonna sew this and then we're gonna flip it. So you guys will see once we get there what I mean. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna lay them on top like this. Now, you can easily take this to a sewing machine and just sew up the ends and leave one side open for you to flip it to make it reversible. Or you can do it my way, which is no sewing machine, and just do this by hand. So I'm going to be clipping all of these edges with the little pins that I mentioned to you guys. So let me open that up. We just need to pin all of these corners. All right, so I went ahead and pinned all 4 corners so that it doesn't move out of place. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is adding the little strings. So I'm also gonna be taking some pins again. I'm gonna need 4, 2 for each one. So because we are gonna flip this inside out so that you don't see the sewing, we're gonna put the string inside of both of the sheets. All right, so I went ahead and pinned it in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this side, that way you guys can see. So if it's easier for you, you can just remove one of these. That way you can open it entirely and see what you're doing. So I'm going to be taking it and basically pinning it like this, right? Except for you don't want to leave it out because then it'll show through. So you're just going to put it right close to the edge like that. You're going to close this side. And as you guys can see, we can still see it. Now I'm just going to push it a little more over and pin it right there. So now it is pinned in there. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this side. So I'm going to remove that one and just try to place it where I want. So right about there. And I'm going to cover it up and pin this one again. Now I'm still going to go ahead and add these pins back in just so that it holds my entire fabric in place. Your end result should be like this. Basically it's 4 pins to just hold this in place and then 4 to hold the actual strips in place. So now we're going to go ahead and start sewing this. Mind you, you have to keep one side open. So basically I'm going to go ahead and sew these 3 ends. So for my needle, I do have all these needles here. I'm going to use the smallest one that I have. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my thread and I'm going to insert in here. By the way, guys, I'm not a professional. This is a mom who is just doing a DIY. So hopefully none of you guys come at me if I'm doing something that is not professional, because I never said I was a professional. So I go ahead and I start tying this on and I do about 3 knots on it. So I'm gonna start on this side. I'm gonna remove one of these pins so that I can access this string right here so that I can go ahead and sew that first. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start threading this. So the way I do it is, I'm not trying to show you guys how to sew. I know everyone has their own way of sewing. This is just what works for me. I'm gonna pin it in the back like so. Actually pull this a little more. And I'm gonna return it. And this is gonna be my pretty side. So then I'm gonna insert the nail again and just bring it back. Oops, it got stuck. Now I'm gonna insert that again in there and bring it right back. So I went ahead and put a black fabric underneath, being that it was a white table on basically white fabric. So now you guys can get a better look. But I went ahead and sewed all the 3 corners that I told you guys I would sew. So basically with this type of stitching, you can sew it however you'd like. This is just what I'm used to. I always say that this is my pretty side and then this is the ugly side, because as you guys notice, the other side doesn't come out as perfect as this side. But it doesn't matter because you're not going to see any of this, being that we're going to flip it. So now that this is done, I did leave this side open as I mentioned. I'm going to go ahead and insert this wire as I had told you guys, being that I want it to stay up here so that it can stick better on the nose. So I'm just going to put it in right here. And now I have it right here between both of the fabrics. So I'm going to push it up to the top and place it kind of at the center. So do you guys see how it's right here? Now I'm going to go ahead and sew all of this. I'm going to sew a straight line so that this can stay right in the middle and it won't move around. So basically the way that you guys see this threading here, I'm going to go ahead and sew it here as well. All right, guys, so I went ahead and sewed this part already. So now that's why this side has 2, whereas this side only has the 1. So this is about 5 inches. It is up to you how long you decide to do it. Just be mindful that you don't want it to be so small that it moves around. So mine was about 5 inches. Now I have this opening over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip it out. I'm gonna bend the wire so that it doesn't poke through. And I just stick my hand to try to get all these edges out.
Mom, it's Max.
Now we obviously have this perfect side. So do you guys see how once you flip it out, you can't see any of the sewing anymore? So if you do this with the sewing machine, you'll get the same result. Obviously mine is just hand threaded. I mean, not hand threaded, my bad guys, hand sewed. So now with this side, we're gonna have to close this up. So before we do that, I am going to pull this out and I'm going to fold it so that once I sew it, these like little cuts or the edges don't show. So let me just go ahead and do that real quick. So like this. Now this is where the pins come in handy again, because you can just pin this down. Being that it's not flat, it's not going to stay yet, but we will be ironing this. So I'm just going to stick the pin right here, like so. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. If you guys hear some movement, that's my daughter. She's sitting right next to me. So I do have this excess string right here. Now don't worry about that because I will cut that off after, but right now I'm just going to leave it there. So now up here, this is the top of my mask, being that the wire is up here. So now this is too big for the face, just like this. So this is where we start to grab this and we pinch it. So for the meantime, I'm going to remove this pin, but I'm going to hold this because I don't want this to pop out. So I'm going to pinch it right there, and now I'm going to stick the pin in that folding. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Oh, damn, I just poked my finger. Be careful if you're using these. All right, so the reason that we're doing these folds is, if you guys remember on my mask, it had it as well as my daughter's. So this ends up opening up, but we sew this down so that the edges aren't wide opened. So do you guys notice that there is the sewing right here as well as on this side? Now, it's not that visible from far. Even if when you're close up, you really got to look at it to see that. On the back, it is, because this side I used black. However, on my daughter's, I used a fabric that was white. So it's not that noticeable, but it doesn't really matter because this is the side that's going to be out. If you want to use the other side, you can. So now back to this mask, we're going to be doing the same thing and closing this up right here, which is what's going to close this. And we are also going to close up this side. So if you were wondering why we're doing these folds, that is what we're trying to achieve. So now we need to pop another fold right here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this pin over here. I think I just moved out of frame, my bad. So let me just fold that. And I don't really measure how much I'm folding. I kind of just fold it as I go. So I'm going to stick the pin in there. So now we have this ready to be ironed. I'm just going to go ahead and take some of that muslin fabric that I have and just lay it over the mask to iron it. You could take the iron straight on this, but when I was younger, my mom used to always say to put something over whatever you're going to iron. So that is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just take it and put it right on top. Now I'm going to take my iron and just press it like that.
It's hot.
Yep, baby, don't touch it. Go back. So now I'm also going to flip it and make sure I iron this. So now we have it flat like this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go back and sew this end and this end just as we did on the other side. Now remember, there's always a pretty side and an ugly side. So I'm gonna make sure the pretty side is over here and here so that the ugly side where it overlaps is right here. So as I mentioned, I went ahead and sewed the two sides up, and now that is done. So this is the top of the mask, being that this is where the wire is. And now when someone puts this on, it'll just open up this way and these two sides will remain pinched. That way it opens, but it's still like closed up and secure on the face. So that's basically how I did this, guys. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. And I was able to do something and have fun doing it. My daughter was sitting with me the whole time I did this, and as well as the times when I was making these. So it just gives you something to do, because if you are bored in the house, I understand. I have been bored in the house too. But this is the end result. All right, guys, so this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. This is just a DIY at home. I am not a professional. I obviously hand threaded this. I don't even have a sewing machine. But for anyone else who is new to this, welcome to the club. This video was definitely for you because I'm on the same boat. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to follow me on my Instagram. Instagram is Muaerika18. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on post notifications, drop a comment, and also in the description, all the items that I used as well as the sizing in regards to the masks will be there. So make sure you guys check that out. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Hey, I look better than what I've been through, yeah. It's a celebration, hey.